Alright, today we are going to be dropping this transmission on this 2016 Dodge ScatPack Challenger 392. This is a manual transmission. I don't know how we're going to do this shit, but we're going to get it done. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some room. I'm going to remove these cats. I already have these wire brushed because they're freaking hollow rusted just like that. Spray some WD-40, try to break those loose, try to get these cats broken loose. Same shit here, and we will go from there. Alright, I'm gonna be using a size 15 millimeter socket with a extension here. See my impact? The impact, it is a lifesaver. You could also use a 5/8 if that 15 is a little too tight. The 5/8 is a tad bit loose, but should be able to get that sucker out. This one actually drove it out. It's so dang stuck. Look at all that freaking rust. Alright, what I'm going to do next, I'm going to disconnect the oxygen sensors from here. Simply press in that tab and release them. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. Just like so. And drop these there. We'll remove these from here, and hopefully we'll be able to drop this exhaust down. And we'll use the 15 to break these loose from here. Same thing to this other side. Alright, the cats are off. I thought I had broke this bolt loose, but I actually snapped it. Nice. So that's going to be fun extracting that bolt and replacing it. I'm probably going to have to be going to the dealership to get a replacement one. Thank you, rusted ass bolt. I'm just trying to drill this out, and then I'm going to continue forward. I just hate to leave this to the end. Alright, I got that bolt drilled out. I'm going to just put a bolt in here and a nut and call it a day. So now let's move on. Alright, next thing we're going to do is disconnect this drive line. I'm going to disconnect it from here, from the transmission itself. So I'm not trying to dangle it all out of here. So I'm going to disconnect this from here. Alright, so it looks like it's going to be a Torx 50 to get this off. I'm going to use the impact. That would be the best way to get those bolts out of there without struggling, because the transmission does move. Unless you hit the e-brakes, so you get those wheels to stop turning, possibly throw it in gear, and then we'll be able to drive these out. But if you do that, you know, you have to go up and down, and do all that. Versus the impact gun, I'll knock the suckers out quick. Alright, here it is. Use a couple extensions to get to it and a swivel, but should work. Alright, and there it is. So now just rotate and repeat. Alright, and there it is. Total of 2, 4, 6 bolts. Now this is loose here. Nice. Dang it. We might have to disconnect the axle shaft from here as well. Cool with the flathead. I was able to try it out, and there it is. Sweet. Hopefully it does not get in our way when we drop this transmission. But for now, transmission is loose from the rear. We have all these bolts we have to remove. I'm going to wait on this. When I drop it, I'll probably just drop it from here. There's no point of removing this whole bracket. We do have to disconnect the shift linkage as well. But I think we should start maybe with the starter and everything else that's around here. Alright, I'm going to open up this little transmission window here and see what we're able to see. This is going to be a 10 mil. Yep, I'm sure that clutch is done. I see a lot of clutch material here. See the little hairs right there. Yep, that's just probably done. Alright, so I just watched the video of how to do this. Oh my god. We gotta rip this shell off, this housing. We gotta remove it from here, remove this from here. We might be possibly able to grab the shifter out of here from down here. hopefully we don't need to rip the console apart. Then the starter is next and everything else. Yeah. But I think I'm gonna start here at the shifter. I'm gonna remove the bolt holding this into place here. This is gonna be a 10 mil. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be tight. All right, there's enough room for a ratchet, so I just use a ratchet. Just be careful with this. This is fiberglass. All right, and there it is. And I'm gonna put this bolt back into place. Yeah, threads onto this one here. Perfect. Sweet. This one here, I believe it has a clip. Yep, there it is. We can remove this one here. And then this side here has a bolt that we'll remove. Sweet, and that way we don't have to rip the console apart. Everything will be loose from here now, and then we just have to focus on this here. All right, now we're gonna remove these from here. These are gonna be 13 mil. Remove this heat shield and get the starter out the way. All right, we'll get this heat shield out of the way. All right, now I'm gonna use a 14 millimeter socket with a swivel with the impact to be able to get these out of here. These bolts, I believe these are the ones that are holding the starter into place. I apologize, I said 14, I meant 15. Yep. All right, and we'll set these bolts down. And it looks like it's still stuck. All right, and it looks like maybe this one's holding the starter as well. So let's remove this bolt as well next. Yep, and starter came loose. There we have it. And we'll disconnect it to get it out of the way. You know what, I think I'm gonna just leave it up there. I have access to that bolt right there. That's pretty much all we need. I have access to that bolt. Because if we do that, we will just have to disconnect the battery and everything. Because of the power post on that there. So I think I'll just leave that there alone, and we're able to get to that. Oh, that sensor looks like it's a bitch to get to. You gotta remove the starter to get to it. Whew, nice one, bruh. Nice one. Alright, I'm just going to loosen up the bolts here. These are all 15. These are all 15. Because we're not going to loosen this up anyways. So now I'm going to loosen up these upper ones, and try to get to these up here. Try to get to this one up here, these back here, and I have a little diagram going, and the ones that are on the other side, I'm going to stick them in from the other side, so that way when I stick everything back together, I make sure all those bolts go in the proper place. Alright, we are to the ground cable here. This one's going to be a 13, so we'll drive this one out here. Alright, then this one is going to be a size 15, to remove that from there. A bit loose. Now a 14 fits. Alright, 14 it is. Alright, we got this one out, and I'm going to put this nut right on top of it so we don't lose that. And I'm going to just stick it right on top. Got my little diagram going here, and these are the bottom ones for these here. I'm sorry, for these here. So, filling this little cardboard up pretty good. Alright, I have all the bolts disconnected or removed. There's only one more bolt left, and it's right on top. I'm going to see if I can try to reach that bolt without removing the latch up on top to get access to it. We're going to disconnect the clutch pedal line here. We're going to pull this little pin. I have some pliers, and I have a little pick. Make sure you don't lose that little pin. There it is. We should be able to pull this clutch line off. It will definitely leak some hydraulic fluid out of there. Alright, and I just put a little rubber cap there to cap that off. Get some room in here. I'm gonna probably disconnect the harness. Well, we're gonna have to disconnect the harness regardless from here. Disconnect the sensor from right there. Alright, I made pretty good room. There's the last bolt right there. There is a shield, so there is a nut behind that bolt. You see that? but I made plenty of room here. I got the line disconnected. I have it here capped off. I pushed the harness to the top. I think I might disconnect this harness from here to kind of give me a little bit more room and tuck that right on top of that. And we'll see what's up. We could also lower the transmission a little bit, and that should give us a little bit more room as well. But I don't have a transmission jack, so I think we're gonna postpone that. This is the only thing I have to get it off. Good luck. This will be my fourth transmission I pulled out. Yeah, that little thing is put in work. I love it. I'm using this one to break it loose. Then I'm using this small little ratchet, little stubby, with a short socket and a small little extension to be able to get to it. I broke it loose right now. Now I'm just going to try to drive that nut out of there. And I'll be able to get it out, hopefully. Sweet, we got that sucker off. Bracket is loose. That one's probably going to be a 14 mil to get off. Sweet, and we should be able to get it off. Nice. All right, and I had to get a little creative to be able to break this sucker loose, but I think we got it. Ah, dang it. I think we're going to need a couple more cranks on there, but it is getting there. All right, this was the last bolt. I have them all right there, and I still need to get to the ones on the outer crank up here. I think the transmission should be fully loose already from the front. Oh yeah, look at the gap. Sweet, so it's pretty much loose. We have the lines disconnected, the drive line disconnected. I'm not sure, we're gonna have to maybe disconnect the drive line from here. I probably will do that, and I'll just sneak the drive line out just so we have no interference getting this transmission out of there. We do still need to get to a few more bolts up here. I believe there's like 2 more for this casing here, because this shell needs to rip apart. It's gonna come out in 2 pieces, 1 and 2, transmission. So yep, let's get right to it. It's moving along. All right, for this backside will be a Torx 50, and I had to use a hammer and a little pry bar to be able to knock it out. You can see the rust here. It is pretty corroded on there. Now I'm gonna just try to pull this drive line out. Oh, nice. Does it have a support right in the middle? It does have a support right in the middle. Nice. So we do have access to our support bracket there. So let's remove those bolts holding it into place. All right, and this will be a size 13 millimeter socket. I'm using my impact because why not? All right, drive line should be loose now. We'll pull this sucker out of here. All right, I'm gonna just leave the drive line dangling there. I pushed it a bit back, enough to clear the transmission. I think I'm gonna lower the vehicle down. I think I'm gonna put this bolt back so the transmission does not completely fall all the way down, so it has something to kind of support it. And we could always just remove this one at the end. I am gonna try to drop this from here and have the engine kind of hold it into place while this brings it down, and we're able to remove the bolts from up there. All right, I'm gonna start loosening up the transmission from here. I tighten these bolts up. It's pretty much closed the gap. That way it's able to dangle from there, and we'll drop this down. I will lower down the vehicle, and let's see if hopefully we can get to those top bolts from up there. If not, I don't know, we'll see what happens. These will also be a size 13 mil. Just break these loose. I'm gonna thread that one back in. Alright, I'm gonna set up the transmission jack here and trying to line it up. And this is never fun by yourself. Alright, I got the jack pretty much maxed out. I'm gonna lower the vehicle a little bit more. Then I'm gonna start taking off these final bolts. Drop the transmission a little bit, as much as I possibly can. See if we could access those bolts from the top. Hopefully we don't have to open up that shelf. We'll see what's up. So far we haven't had to open up the engine bay. We'll see what's up. Alright, and I am lowering the transmission. Let's see how far it will go down. I think it's about to stop. And it's still going. Alright, and that's pretty much it right there. Let's see how much access we got. Alright, so I could feel the bolt right here. And hopefully I should be able to reach it from the other side. It's just going to be kind of tricky to get to it, I'm not going to lie. Alright, we came into an issue. I noticed that as I had the transmission down, this was already off. But it's getting caught on this little bolt that's up here. So I'm going to have to remove this bolt, holding that shaft together, so we'll be able to clear this out. Next will be try to get those bolts to that section of the casing, and then we're almost there. Alright, I got this piece off and I had to use a 10 mil to take it out of there. Now that we have that off, we should be able to drop the transmission a little bit more to finally be able to access those bolts we've been trying to access for the past 10 years. Alright, I'm going to use some 1/2 inch extensions with a reducer to a 3/8 with a 3/8 swivel and the 15. And I'm going to see how many more extensions I need to be able to reach the transmission bolts that are up here coming in from the rear. I think that's going to be our best bet. Alright, I was able to break this bolt here loose, and now I'm going to drive it out. Alright, and there it is, and this is what I use. I just end up using the 1/2 inch extensions. I don't know however long that is. One more to go. Alright, on this side I'm trying to make some room. Disconnected this sensor here. I'm going to try to push this off from here. Get that harness kind of out of the way. The last bolt we need to get to is right here. It's a little tough. I'm gonna be honest, you can't see it at all. So I'm just trying to make room so I can guide the tool in there and then just guide it with my finger in here. But gotta make room. Alright, and this is how I'm going about it. And kind of hard to see. There it is. And now I'm gonna try to break it off. Alright, I got the last bolt off. Now we're hopefully ready to support the transmission and get this sucker off. Alright, I'm gonna remove this bracket. There's 4 bolts holding this into place. It's a 13. That way I can scoot this a little bit over and kind of have this centered with the transmission itself. Alright, now I am going to try to break the transmission loose. I don't know from where, but I'm going to try to break it loose somewhere. Alright, looks like there is a good section right here. Transmission is separating. Just work it all the way out. Be careful. Please be careful. Alright, the transmission is pretty much separated here. The little bell housing is off. And just work it all the way around. Alright, and there it is. It's broken free. It is loose. Just got to get it down. Alright, and there it is. We just got to bring it down. Well, get that spinal cord out of there. bring it back, and we'll just try to get that sucker out. Sweet, and there she is. She is coming out. We just have to disconnect whatever sensors is connected on top still, and we should be good to go. All right, and we'll disconnect this sensor here. I think that's it. That's the only thing hooked up to it. Continue to bring this down. There you go. Sweet, there we have it. Sweet, and there it is. Casing is off, transmission is off. Let's lift this sucker up. I'm tired of being on my back. There she is. Sweet, and there we have it. Now we are able to access the clutch, change out this clutch, and then do it all over again. Yay us. Sweet. That is how you remove the transmission. Oh, nice. On this 2016 Dodge Challenger ScatPack 392 stick shift. Don't forget about the stick shift part. Wop, 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 wop. I can't do it. This one does that. Wop, 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 wop noise. This one goes wop, wop. Anyhow, that is how we get that shit done. Thank you for watching. I am not going to do a video of how to install this. Please like and subscribe.